The Mercedes Benz Classic Days 2006, celebrating 120 years of motoring history, is held at the Salzburg Ring in Austria. To qualify for Classic Days, Benz, Mercedes or Mercedes-Benz cars must be over 20 years old, and they are divided into three classes. Class 3 is for cars built from 1964 to 1986. Class 2 for cars built from 1955 to 1964, and these Class 1 cars built up to 1954. The sporting event is not so much a race but a series of regularity tests where teams set their own base or target time and then repeat each lap as precisely as possible. Further tests are concerned with reducing the base or target time by 2 or 4 seconds each successive lap. So here are the Class 1 cars in the sporting event. A 1955 300S 6-cylinder coupe with 150 PS. A 1951 220A 6-cylinder 110 PS. A 1954 220 Cabriolet A 6-cylinder claiming only 80 PS. A 1955 300 6-cylinder 215 PS. A 1939 170B 4-cylinder 38 PS, a 1953 170 SB limousine 4-cylinder, a 1953 300S Roadster 6-cylinder 150 PS, a 1953 300B limousine, a 1952 300S Cabriolet 6-cylinder 150 PS, an exceptional 1927 630 Tourer 6-cylinder 100 PS, a 1955 190 SLR, a 1953 300S Cabriolet 6-cylinder 150 PS, a 1954 300 SL 6-cylinder 215 PS, a 1953 300S Cabriolet 6-cylinder 150 PS, a 1952 220 Cabriolet B 6-cylinder 80 PS, a 1955 220 Pomtop, a 1955 190 Cabriolet 4-cylinder 105 PS, and finally the star of the event, a 1919 Mercedes 4-cylinder 45 PS.
Once again, a very warm welcome to Mercedes Benz Classic Days 2006.
The evening entertainment started on a special note with drinks and dinner at the city's world-famous Festung Hohensalzburg castle, built in 1077 and subsequently expanded during the following centuries. The evening ended with a surprise firework display which unfortunately was not for us, but for more worthy dignitaries. The Geisberg hill climb is world famous, and ex-Grand Prix driver Jochen Mass leads off in a 1929 SSK Roadster, followed by a beautiful sounding 1958 300 SL Roadster. A 1958 300 SL Roadster. The petite 1932 La Pintette Monoposto with 90 PS. The more familiar 1956 Triumph TR3 Roadster with 100 PS. The big 1929 SSK driven and toured extensively by Etienne Fiend from Holland. By contrast, the British Bentley 4.5 Le Mans Open Tourer with 140 PS. The very light and agile 1927 Amiel car Porsche 6-cylinder and 85 PS. Classic 1927 Bugatti 35B, 8-cylinder, 140 PS, albeit with a lumpy start. A very original unrestored Mercedes 300 SL. A 300 SL Gullwing. A rarely seen 1959 190 SLR, 4 cylinders, 130 PS. An equally rare 1959 190 SLS, 4 cylinders with the same 130 PS. A big 1964 Mercedes 300 SE limousine, 6 cylinders with 170 PS. A very special 1934 Alfa Romeo 8C Monza Grand Prix car with 180 PS. A 1937 Delahaye 135 MS Le Mans 6-cylinder. An elegant 1939 BMW 328 Roadster with 85 PS. The huge 1927 Mercedes 630S Tourer with 120 PS and 170 PS with the supercharger engaged. A 1958 300 SL Roadster followed by another factory 300 SL.
Mercedes Benz 300 Roadster.
A little-known 1956 MG designated a Mistral Barchetta 4-cylinder and 95 PS, but otherwise of unknown origin. The very impressive 1948 Aston Martin 21-speed Ulster, only 4 cylinders but 120 PS. A 1951 Jaguar XK120 Open Top Sports or OTS Roadster, 6 cylinders and 160 PS. And finally another Mercedes 300 SL.
Das leitet ab, natürlich, keine Frage. Also das wird nicht wahr.
Was macht sie jetzt wieder?
Gott sei Dank, ich war so froh. Ja.
It is rather a long wait for our turn to attack the hill. Time enough to see more of the sporting cars and even time enough to write postcards to home. The Paul Daimler cars then have their regularity trials on the Salzburg Ring, headed up by Jochen Mass in the 8th McLaren Mercedes from the production line.
dem 1929er SSK, dahinter Classic Centre mit dem ebenfalls aus dem Jahr 1929.
You could be forgiven for thinking that this is not a race. Just watch and listen to the 300 SL blowing out cobwebs, and the dice up between the green 300 SL with the white stripe and the MG Barchetta. The MG does exceptionally well keeping up with the SL until the E-Type Jaguar prototype E1A looking special goes unserviceable. As expected, the Alfa and Delahaye have their own competition, with the TR4 striking out on its own. The 300 SL, which sounds race prepared, continues to impress with its exhaust note and pace. As can often be the case, there is a little mix-up when everybody is to return to the pits, and some appear to be more confused than others. In Parc Fermé there is ample opportunity to view the exceptional cars attending this year. One of the earliest is a 1904 Mercedes Simplex, and the amazing 1919 Mercedes with its night sleeve engine. Incredible as it may seem, this car made it up the Geisberg. On the occasion of Mozart's 250th birthday, the concert was naturally held in the Mozarteum. The tourist event took over 230 cars and some 500 participants through the beautiful lake region of the Salzkammergut, with lunch at the Stift Reikersberg, and the mountain route of the Berchtesgadener Land, with lunch at the Winkelmus Alm, and back through Rossfeldstrasse. Unfortunately for us, the mountain views were completely obscured by a dense mist, with visibility down to 20 metres in some places. coaches chase around the track to bring the participants to the Salzburg Ring in time for much cleaning, polishing and even some light engine tuning prior to the police escorted trip to Salzburg. The Concours d'Elegance is held in front of the magnificent historic buildings of the Residenzplatz, where there is even test drives to select the next generation of Mercedes Grand Prix drivers.
We'll have a blue room, a new room for two, where every day's a holiday because you're married to me. Not like a ballroom, a small room, a hall room where I can smoke my pipe away with your wee head above my knee. We will thrive on, keep alive on just nothing but kisses.